All right, and we are back here on the GSMC football podcast. And for the final part of the show, we're just going to go over the stats leaders after week 7, as we normally do during the week. So let's go right into it. So for passing yards, Tua Tagovailoa currently is still the passing leader. He's got 2092 passing yards. Kirk Cousins has got 2057. Patrick Mahomes has emerged, and he is, after his great game on Sunday, he's got 2017. Matthew Stafford has 1908. Jared Goff has 1902. Yeah, I mean, listen, Tua's in like one of the most explosive offenses in the NFL. I mean, with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. So, I mean, he's going to be up there. Kirk Cousins, I mean, with, not a very good running game. He's going to be throwing the ball a lot. And listen, you expect Mahomes to see him in some of these categories because he wasn't in passing yards. Now he jumped up there. And Stafford and Jared Goff, obviously two quarterbacks that were traded for each other. They're 4 and 5. But yeah, that's the passing yard leaders right there. Passer rating, Tua still in first place. He's got a 110.4. Brock Purdy's got a 107.2. Lamar Jackson 101.9. Kirk Cousins 101.7. And Patrick Mahomes, once again, on the list, 101 on the dot. Yeah, I mean, listen, Brock Purdy's had a rough couple of games, but he's still top 5 in passer rating, and Tua is number 1 there, and so there was like some obviously on TV, people were talking about Tua like not being. Certain people were saying Tua wasn't an MVP candidate. I don't know how you can't put him in the conversation if that's true. I mean, passer rating, passing yards. I mean, look, is Tua? I don't look at Tua as like an elite quarterback. I look at him as he's a very good quarterback. He's been very solid this year. But I mean, it helps when you got Tyreek Hill, and listen, you still got to make the throws, and Tua does make the throws. Although last week or this past week against the Eagles, it wasn't good, but I mean, listen, he's been good. Tua's been good this year. And the other thing, too, is, like when he got hurt last year, I mean, the Dolphins were a different team. I mean, if he plays against the Bills in that playoff game last year, I'd probably win that game. So we could talk about, Tua, getting hurt and missing time. And, people, criticizing him. But, when he doesn't play, I mean, the Dolphins need him. He's their best chance to win. And when he's not there, it's a problem. So he's been good this year. Dolphins have been good, although obviously you're a little concerned with how, they've played against good teams on the road. But listen, I think he's an MVP candidate. And I think Brock Purdy still is, although last couple weeks he's definitely taken a hit there. Lamar Jackson in passer rating in the top 3. I mean, that just goes to show you he's been better as a thrower. He's definitely gotten better, and it's nice when he actually has some guys to throw to. I talked about yesterday, Zay Flowers emerging as a nice player for them, their rookie wide receiver. So, But, yeah, those are the passer rating leaders. Rushing yards, you got Christian McCaffrey, obviously, in first place. Zach Moss is still second, which it's just funny. This is like such a weird list. Christian McCaffrey, then you got Zach Moss, DeAndre Swift, Travis Etienne, Raheem Mostert. Really Zach Moss being in second is weird to me. Travis Etienne, though, he's really emerged as one of the best running backs in the NFL. I mean, last week, he didn't do much after his 2 touchdowns, but he really has looked really good for the Jags. And listen, this is after missing like his first season. And it was honestly better off just because of how a train wreck, the Jags were that year, but he's really looked good this year. So and the Jags are starting to get right, so that's that's good for them. Obviously, you got DeAndre Swift, who's run the football well for the Eagles. Mostert, didn't have a very good game against the Eagles, which was kind of expected. Eagles are good against the run, but he's number 5 there. Then we go to receiving yards. Tyreek Hill is at 902. A.J. Brown is at 809. Puka Nacua is at 752. Stephon Diggs, 678. And DJ Moore, 636. Listen, Tyreek Hill, we're pretty much at the halfway point of the season. He's going to get very close to 2,000 yards. And for me personally, I'm so happy with fantasy because, like, I had 4. I didn't know who I was going to pick. And I was like, you know what? Let's take Tyreek Hill. I shouldn't. There's nothing wrong with that. And that really has paid off this year in multiple leagues. And A.J. Brown's really started to get it going. Another good game on Sunday. Again, it all goes back to that week 3 argument on the sidelines, with not getting the ball. I mean, he's gotten the ball a lot, and, he's made the most of it. Puka Nacua, is still in the top 5. Obviously had a good game against the Steelers. Cooper Kupp actually, surprisingly still, got held to 2 receptions for 29 yards. That was really surprising. But, the Steelers did a good job holding him down. But, yeah, Nacua, is at 752. He had another good game against the Steelers. Diggs, obviously, is in the top 5. That's expected. DJ Moore, I feel like, is going to dip out of the top 5 at some point just because, I don't know when Fields is coming back. And, the Bears, listen, the Bears are going to have to throw it a lot on Sunday, because they're going to have to keep up with the Chargers. They were playing ahead, against the Raiders for the most part. Pretty much the whole game. And, the Chargers, listen, they're coming off of a few bad losses in a row. And that's a high-powered offense, and, they're going to have to throw it more. So DJ Moore should, be heavily involved on Sunday. And then we look at the sacks leaders. So you got Danielle Hunter, he's at 9. T.J. Watt, 8. Myles Garrett, 7.5. Trey Hendrickson, 7. Khalil Mack, 7. And Danielle Hunter, listen, he was a guy that maybe the Vikings were going to move off of, with all the trade rumors going on. But now the Vikings have put together a good couple of weeks, and he might be sticking around. So, and then, of course, T.J. Watt's a monster. He had a pick the other day. He's at 8. Myles Garrett, 7.5. Obviously, Khalil Mack had his 6 of his 7 sacks in one game. But, yeah. Then we look at the interception leaders. You got Geno Stone for the Ravens. He's got 4. Bland for the Cowboys has got 3. Cisco 3 for the two Jacksonville Jaguars are tied for second with interceptions at 3. Nelson's got 3 for the Texans. So that's really it though with interceptions though. One guy has 4, everybody else has got 3. Zaire Franklin, he's still the leading tackler. He's got 88 for the Colts. But yeah, and then we go to the so that's the player stats. Let's go to the team leaders now. So the Dolphins obviously, leading in passing yards. In rushing, they still are averaging 100. Are at the top, averaging 162.3 rushing yards per game. The Browns are in second, Ravens in third, Eagles in fourth, Bears in fifth. In receiving yards, the Dolphins lead the way there. The Vikings are in second. The Chiefs are in third. Texans fourth. Chargers fifth. No surprise there, really. Dolphins lead the way in scoring. You got the 49ers in second. Bills in third. Eagles in fourth. Cowboys in fifth. It's just crazy how the Dolphins lead, all these offensive categories. Total offense, another statistic that they lead in. The Chiefs are behind them. They're averaging 396.7. And, these two teams are going to play each other in Germany in a couple weeks. So that's going to be a lot of fun. The Eagles are in third, Lions fourth, Bills fifth. And then the Ravens lead the way in sacks. They got 29. Niners have a total of 11 interceptions. They lead the way there. But, yeah, that's pretty much it with the stat leaders. There. But yeah, listen, the Dolphins, they lead all these categories, but people still have their criticisms, obviously. Because especially, with how they've played against good teams on the road. I mean, they lost against the Eagles, who are a Super Bowl contender, and they lost against the Bills. Now, the Bills look like a different team right now. So, I mean, I think they're going to figure it out at some point. I would think. You would think. Well, some people might not think. They might just say, like, the Bills are done. But, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see if they figure it out. But the Dolphins, I mean, listen, they're going to be a team that nobody's going to want to face because that offense is really good. It's really dangerous. They want to have home field advantage. That's the big thing. That's a big thing for a lot of these teams is they're going to want to get home field. It's going to be very important because, we talked about it. A lot of these teams are beatable. All of these teams are beatable. Everybody has had that one bad loss. So that's what's going to make home field advantage, important. So, but yeah, I mean, those are the stats leaders. Dolphins still lead every offensive category, pretty much. So, now they play the Patriots at home. Which, listen, the Patriots are coming off of a win against the Bills, but listen, now they're in Miami, and I think they're going to have some problems there. I think Miami's going to, this is a get-right game for them, and, I think they should win this game by at least 2 scores. But judging off of how my predictions have been the last couple of weeks, who knows? I mean, probably not going to. You're probably going to have to say, well, then that means if you're saying that, then that means the Patriots are probably going to do well in this game. I don't know. My predictions have been bad recently. And then last night, once again, took the Phillies to win, and they, of course, lost. And now so we got a World Series matchup that we will preview. Well, we're not going to preview, but, it'll already be in progress. But, we'll give updates on it on the GSMC Baseball podcast. That'll be on Friday after the football podcast. Big Friday. Got the World Series going. Football, obviously. Football Friday will be doing the picks. And, and the NBA's back. So I was watching those 2 games last night, Nuggets and Lakers. Nuggets picking up right where they left off and, the defending champs. And then, of course, the Suns and the Warriors. Kevin Durant making his return to Golden State for the first time since he left. Because we've had in front of fans, because we've had a lot going on, pandemic and, him being injured and things like that. But, yeah, so the sports equinox is upon us. We got all 4 main sports going on at the same time. And, it's enjoy it because it's not that often that we get that. That's, because baseball is going to be over soon. And then, then it's just the 3 other ones. And then, eventually football is going to end. And then you got just basketball and hockey until we get baseball back. So it's a cycle. So, but that's pretty much it for today's show. Once again, I thank you guys for watching. Make sure to, obviously for future live streams, to get your comments recognized, go to the link. It's obviously on the ticker as well, streamelements.com/GSMC /tip. That's for future reference. And then obviously, right after this, I'll be recording the Patreon. So, to see all the Patreons, make sure to go to patreon.com and search up GSMC Sports Network, and that is where you can find all of the bonus content that you wouldn't find here on this live show. So, again, I thank you guys for tuning in. I'm going to go record the Patreon now. So that is all the time that we got for today. I thank you guys for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Time, so make sure to tune in for that. And until then, I'm Kenneth Gruenfelder signing off from the GSMC Football Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.